This level is just pure creative energy. Seriously. After going from a pirate ship to a lava world to a shipwreck in a swamp, and all the stuff that came with it, who'd have thought the introduction to World 4 would be exploring the interior of a giant beehive? Nobody. Nobody! It's just so bizarre, and yet it fits right in. Coming off Bramble Blast, itself coming off the remixed pirate ship themes and the swamplands, this tile set feels cohesive in ways I don't think I'll ever truly be able to articulate. It matches the creative pace set by all the previous levels and outpaces anything from DKC. It's colorful and whimsical. I hate that I used that word, but whatever. And yet, it still has that darkness to it that all the previous levels had. The lava levels, the mine shafts, the ship's holds, the bayou, the brambles, they've all got this melancholy undertone despite being a colorful children's game. And this level is no different. Like them, a lot of that is brought in through the music, but I feel like I've gotten a little off track already. This is part 20 of Overthinking Donkey Kong Country 2. To me, this level is probably the closest, or at least the earliest, analog to slipslide ride that DKC2 has to offer. It's vertical, but not strictly, and it snakes back and forth as it progresses upwards. It's almost in the exact same point in the game as slipslide ride is too. It's the first hive level, so that's the main selling point, but as for the gameplay, the honey's where it's at. Coating various surfaces, the Kongs will get stuck in the honey if they land on it. This is a double-edged sword, holding them in place for enemies to hit them, but also serving as a means of traversal, allowing them to climb up to higher parts of the level. It's a great idea, and we've not seen anything like it so far. The zingers are obviously out in force here, but there's Spiny, Click-Clack, and Krook here too. A small variety of enemies, but a good selection that suits the level. The general lack of Kremlings makes me think that they might not enter the hives unless they absolutely have to. Maybe the Krooks are here to stop the Kongs from coming in. We'll circle back to that. Ignoring the secret path above, the level starts out with 3 horizontal honey spots to introduce the concept. Another 1, 2, 3 moment, with the first being by itself, the second being a bit smaller with an approaching Click-Clack, and the third being a longer stretch with a zinger that needs to be jumped over, and shortly followed up by 2 Click-Clacks. After that, there's our first vertical stretch. Low stakes and quite a short run, just enough to give players the gist of it. The rest of the level is all about traversal, with most of the challenge revolving around the vertical sections. Parts where you're jumping between 2 narrow walls, dodging enemies, jumping up the one wall, and occasionally relying on the hooks. The DK coin is cleverly hidden in a deep pit with a zinger at the opening. Squidder returns here and really kills the challenge, but he's also easy to miss. One thing I really dig about this level is how it puts 2 bonus areas right at the start, one above the other. They're not hard to find, but unobservant players could easily miss one or both. The bonus levels themselves are quite easy, and like so many before them, serve as mini tutorials for the dominant gameplay features of the level. Hornet Hole doesn't continue the narrative so much as humbly adds to the world building. We can theorize and extrapolate from the environment what we can, but mostly it just shows us an element of the island's ecosystem. The hives we see in the overworld likely house all the zingers on the island. As for why they're all around the entrance to the theme park, I'm gonna assume that they just chose to build there, and the Kremlings realized it'd be more trouble than it's worth to get rid of them. That could explain why the Kongs enter the theme park through the hive too. We can see remnants of the swamp here, so maybe the landscape is difficult to traverse, and following the path to the front gates leads you through the hives built up around it. At any rate, it's pretty cool. Episode 20 is done. We're now stepping into Crazy Kremland, and more or less kicking off the back half of the game. For my money though, we're right in the middle of the best part of the game. It started with Kremkey, it'll end in Gloomy Gulch, but for now, we're here. Thanks for watching.